Messengers and believers are given commands and prohibitions. It is not that they act or say something from themselves or what they consider good in their own intellects. They only act upon what they are ordered and refrain from what they are prohibited. Allah the Exalted says, and whatsoever the Messenger Muhammad gives you, take it, and whatsoever he forbids you, abstain from it. And fear Allah, they are given orders and prohibitions by Allah, the Mighty and Sublime, because they are all His servants. Thus they will not precede Him with a saying or advance before Allah and His Messenger with a statement or action. They only follow orders, they carry out only what Allah orders, and will only refrain from what Allah has prohibited, because they are servants. The messengers are servants, and so are the angels, even when they occupy a great station and lofty rank. They are still servants who follow the commands of Allah. Glorious is He and exalted. He said, Allah ordered the believers what He ordered the messengers. Then He mentioned the point of reference and evidence that corroborates it. Allah ordered the messengers by His saying, O you messengers, eat of the tayyibat, all kinds of legal foods which Allah has made legal, meat of slaughtered eatable animals, milk products, fats, vegetables, fruits. Fat, vegetables, fruits. And do righteous deeds. His saying, eat of the tayyibat, meaning from the permissible things. The tayyibat is that which is permissible, and the impure is that which is prohibited. And Allah has ordered eating from the tayyibat, from that which is permissible and prohibited, eating from that which is forbidden and bad. And then He mentioned what stems from eating things that are permissible. He said, and do righteous deeds, so consuming what is permissible aids towards acting upon good deeds and makes the good deed acceptable. As for consuming what is prohibited, it brings about depression, laziness, and it disgraces one. As such, you find those who consume prohibited things and earn from prohibited sources, much distant from good deeds and acts of devotion. You find that they are the laziest about the prayers, because the forbidden weighs down their stomach, and their hearts and gets them lazy about good deeds. This is not the case with those who consume the permissible and refrain from what is forbidden. That helps them upon obedience to Allah, softens their hearts and soothes them. He saying, the Exalted, I am well acquainted with what you do. This contains warning that one should keep his deeds private and not make the deeds to be seen, while his heart is bereft of sincerity for Allah. The Exalted is all aware of what He is doing. He can never be betrayed by embellishment and falsehood, nor can He never be tricked with the apparent while the secret is impure. This is only possible regarding humans, who only know what is apparent. As for the secret, no one knows it except Allah. Glorious is He and exalted. His saying, I am well acquainted with what you do, involves two things. The first, man should not be scared of missing any deed, and neither will Allah ever forget it or abandon it. So all good and evil deeds are known to Allah, the Most High. He takes account of them, records them for the doer, whether it is a good or bad deed. The second, that Allah the Mighty and Sublime is never deceived by the apparent falsity and decoration. He, glorious is he, certainly knows the reality of things. He said, with regard to the believers, he, the Exalted, said, O you who believe, eat of the lawful things that we have provided you with. This is an order from Allah the Mighty and Sublime, to eat from the pure things, that is, the permissible things, pure in its essence, and pure regarding how it was acquired and means. So his saying, eat, is an order from Allah, the Mighty and Sublime, showing the permissibility of the pure things for us. He, the Exalted, said, He allows them as lawful all good things, and prohibits them as unlawful all evil things. Therefore, his saying, eat of the lawful things that we have provided you with, includes the prohibition from consuming impure things. This contains refutation for those who prohibit pure things, claiming that doing so is from worship and thinking that there is reward for avoiding them, such as the Sufis and those who take to ascetics. This is from overburdening oneself, because Allah has ordered the eating of pure and delicious things. Pure things here includes the pure things which are the opposites of the impure ones, and the pure which is delicious, including the various kinds of meat, fruit, and the sorts of lovely and delightful things of woman and legitimate fun. So one takes from them and does not deny himself, but without vestige. The one who seeks nearness to Allah by leaving the permissible things and the pure things is unnecessarily stringent. The Prophet used to eat from what Allah makes easy for him. He would eat meat and fruit. He would marry women, wear perfume, and use pure things. Peace and blessings be upon him. He said, and do righteous deeds as he said to the messengers, in view of the fact that he ordered them to two things, eating pure things and carrying out good deeds, because eating pure things aids towards obedience to Allah, the Exalted, with pious deeds, since the body is given pure nourishment and comes alive. It does not mean that one should eat whatever he desires, becoming lazy to carry out good deeds. This is the way of the beast. Man eats and gives thanks to Allah, the Mighty and Sublime. So his saying, and do righteous deeds, this is from giving thanks for Allah's mercy, the Mighty and Sublime. Thereafter, the Prophet gave an illustration about the one who consumes forbidden things and supplicates to Allah, the Mighty and Sublime, in a worn-out condition, a condition which should necessitate that his supplication is granted. He had means by which supplications are answered, but he had hindrances that will also prevent the acceptance of supplications. As for the means, the first is he raised his hands, and raising the hands during supplications is from the means of acceptance. He raised his hands to the sky. Why has he raised his hands to the sky? It points to Allah's ulu. Glorious is he and exalted, because Allah, the Mighty and Sublime, is above the heavens. This also points to the legitimacy of raising the hands during supplications. The basic thing is to raise the hands during supplications, except where evidence shows that one should not raise the hands, then one does not. The second, saying, O Lord, he was seeking closeness to Allah by his lordship. And this is from the approved forms of making tawassul to Allah by his names and attributes and his lordship is from the means by which supplications are granted. The third is that he is a disheveled and dusty, in an untidy condition, without arrogance. As for the arrogant, his arrogance prevents the acceptance of his supplication. So this man had means by which prayers are answered. He has lowly had travelled a long distance, and the supplication of the traveller is more likely